Hey, Fanboy Nation.
This is your pal Daffy Duck, and you're watching.
We're watching Fanboy.
Fanboy, etc.
Fanboy Nation.
I assume Tom.
Good morning. We are talking about Aisha today. We will save all questions for Black Panther 3 for a later date, but congratulations on this film.
Thank you.
Yeah, immigration stories are very close to my home and my heart. My parents are immigrated to the United States. I became a U.S. citizen, being born here 2 weeks before my mother, was naturalized. So it's always interesting to see this type of story being told, especially from a refugee perspective. How important was it for you to tell this story?
It was super important for me to tell it because I love the angle that it took. Firstly, I love that Frank, my director and writer, he took so many years to like put this story together because he did extensive research. I love the angle because it wasn't just about showing the journey of coming from one place to the next. It was more tapped into the emotional journey that you experience once you're in kind of like this limbo stage, and what that does to you, and what does that do to you wanting to be motivated and have goals and have dreams. Like, how does that pick apart your life and pick apart your goals and your dreams on a day-to-day like kind of like level? And I just really love the take that this film kind of went in, like the angle that this film went in, and how it was more about this, like what's happening in your spirit whilst you're waiting for an answer, and then tapping into like, yeah, all of the things that kind of like traumatize you in a way, and like unpacking those in front of our audience was quite interesting to me.
It also, the situation with government bureaucracy not being able to be as efficient as it could be, especially with someone that's gone through the proper channels to get there.
Yeah. It's tough. It's a tough situation. Yeah.
The film reaction has been absolutely wonderful. I love character-based stories and character-driven stories, especially like Aisha. When you yourself we're not obviously born in the United States or the UK. What's it like for you to be able to tell a story like this from an immigrant perspective? Even though your situation was obviously different, there's still that connection to Aisha as a person.
Yeah, you understand. Like you said, it's not super similar in but you do understand, and I think also like growing up with like watching the news and like, just seeing the way like different countries kind of like deal with immigration as well. You start to grow up and see more, and I love watching documentaries. So I'm always finding out. I'm always learning. So I feel like all of those things combined helped me to see the story for what it really is. And the humanity of this story, and taking Aisha, but she represents so many different people all at once. Feel like that's what really drew me to it as well.
What I truly appreciate about this film is that it is not a preachy film, and it is not a one-sided film. It is just the existence of these two characters and their interactions together and what they go through life, whether, the ex-convict character or Aisha's immigrant character making a life for herself in Ireland. The reality is it's not a message-based film. It is a story based on what could actually happen to someone or has actually happened to people.
Yeah, I agree with you. I've been sharing with other interviewers, like just saying to them that you know, I love the simplicity of the script and how everything was like more like stripped back. And how it was mostly like I can see the internal dialogue of the character. Like, or I can see that being the thing that pulls people in more than the words, really. It's just what's her journey, what's that process like. So I agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Black Panther was phenomenal, you know, two major blockbusters for you. But when you get to strip down and tell a human story, how important is that versus the theatrics of a mega blockbuster the way the other film was?
Oh man, I think I have to disagree with you, you know, because I feel like Black Panther, especially number two, it felt very it, for me it felt very, you know, it has the sci-fi elements and the action elements to it, but we were dealing with grief, you know, topic of grief, and everybody experiences that and loss and people that you love. So I feel like that's a very human thing to tap into. But just with independent filmmaking, it's more on an intimate level. You don't have as much you don't have a lot of money, and you ain't got a lot of time. But you have a lot of heart as well. So I feel like, yeah, I feel like both avenues are great, and I've enjoyed both. But with this one, yes, I do love independent filmmaking in terms of like just the intimacy of it all. Yeah, just the intimacy of it all. But I try to achieve that anywhere I go, whether it's blockbuster, whether it's theater. I try to achieve the truth of what's in the story and how I can relate to my audiences. It's just a matter of how many eyes are placed on it.
Well, you did an incredible job with Aisha, which comes out on Tuesday, May 10th. I really appreciate your time today. For people that, you know, aren't familiar with it or have only seen the trailer, why do they need to take the time and watch Aisha on May 10th?
They need to take the time. It's a beautiful story. Not only is it going to inform you about, you know, the immigration system that's happening in Ireland, but it's also just it's a heartfelt story. It's one that's necessary for us to tap into. And I'm a part of it. So you should watch it for sure.
Well, Aisha is a film that will definitely bring people together and actually have an open discussion about immigration policies across the world. Thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it. And thank you for making such a wonderful film that actually connects on a deeper level.
Thank you. Thank you so much.